So, now that the primaries are effectively over as far as the politics professionals are considered, it's time to move on to some kind of fun hypotheticals. Now, a lot of people have talked about the idea of Paul Ryan accepting or being a dark horse, the darkest horse of dark horses at the Republican convention in Cleveland this year, where the party is not able to decide between Trump and Cruz. We're on the third, fourth ballot here. Republicans are tearing each other apart. You're not going to give it to Kasich or Rubio, who won barely any delegates. That would seem wrong. And similar to what happened in the House last fall, Republicans decide it's time to create that consensus candidate, that Republican no one really has a problem with, Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan is definitely a person who has envisioned himself as a future president and was the vice presidential nominee in 2012. Now, should Paul Ryan accept the presidential nomination if the Republicans get together and offer it to him? It is my opinion that no, in short, that would be not in his best interests. Paul Ryan has a good job, sort of, as Speaker of the House, at least a prestigious one, and it hasn't managed to tarnish his image that much yet in his first 6 months. And in theory, he can quit it after, the 2016 elections and the next Congress gets sworn in 2017. And, get out of that politically volatile position, which doesn't really help anyone move up from there. Paul Ryan definitely does see himself as a future president, and it kind of makes sense. He has a lot of love from all corners of the Republican Party, and he's kind of knowledgeable on policy. He's headed 2 major committees so far. And in theory, if you're a Republican, you would think he would make a good president for you. The problem is, the Republicans have had the most tumultuous primary season in my memory. Donald Trump has upended everything and successfully divided the Republicans into 3 factions. People who only are for Trump, and thus probably wouldn't come behind anyone else. Conservatives, who are going for Cruz, and establishment people who kind of go for what's typically thought of it as a president when they're going behind Kasich, I suppose, now. So it would not be in Paul Ryan's best interest to really go for this because it's a surefire loser. Paul Ryan has not been introducing himself to the country very well up to this point. Not too many people would probably know who he is. So he doesn't have that benefit of the primaries and, late night talk show hosts putting his face out in front of everyone for months and months. And if he stepped in now, he's trying to ramble together a coalition that's very divided and very bitterly angry at each other. Now, that doesn't seem like a winning formula for, a Republican candidate, whoever it is. And it's hard to move on after being a presidential nominee if you lose to run again. Paul Ryan wants to be president, and doing it this year, even if it's given to him on a silver platter, is not the smartest way to do that. He'd most likely just become another Romney, where, you lose, you're vilified. He's not going to Nixon his way out of it, because Nixon won his nomination of his own accord. So, in a way, it made sense for him to be able to get it again. So, in short, Paul Ryan, if you are one of the 20 or so average viewers I get for my videos, starting off with this channel, I implore you, do not accept the nomination if it's offered to you, no matter how honorable it might seem to try to take that mantle and, fall on your sword for the party as you did in accepting the speaker's job. You've done your community service for your team. Let them figure it out themselves. Come back in 2020 should you choose and run for the nomination if the Republicans lose this fall. So, yeah, Paul Ryan shouldn't accept it. That's the opinion of the politics professionals here. And, be sure to leave some comments in the comment section. I'm sure some of you have opinions on this. Strong ones, likely, too. Anyway, this is Brody with the Politics Professionals. Have a good one.